Welcome, everybody, to Start Sit Different Day, where we answer all of your Start Sit questions heading into week 2, just on a different day, because everybody does it on Sunday. We're the Outlaws, and we do it on a Saturday, because we actually like to set our lineups on a Sunday. Sorry for being selfish, guys. I'm Josh Hudson. I'm filling in for Faith and Joe. Faith is on vacation. Joe is avoiding everybody because he gave some very bad fantasy advice on Wednesday. But you know what? That is okay. I am here, and I have 2 fantastic guests just to rub it in their face for missing. I brought on my drinking buddies this morning, the co-hosts of the Drinking and Talking Fantasy Football Podcast. We have Dusty. We have Jake Trowbridge, who let's hope that he has good internet this week, guys. I'm telling you, I don't know if that's going to happen, but we will see. Let's get into it. I always have to throw in the internet shade, Jake. You know, it's just kind of become a staple on this show, and hopefully we have some familiar faces in the chat that just get the running joke. You know,
you've got to say it until it stops being a reality. So
exactly.
The onus is on me here.
Yeah, fix your fucking internet, dude. Seriously. Welcome everybody to Start Sit Different Day. I'm Josh Hudson, and with me, as I mentioned in the intro, Dusty, Jake. How we doing this morning, boys?
Excellent. Excited to be here.
Love it. Yeah, college football Saturday, rocking and rolling up in Wisco. And look, as hosts of the Drinking and Talking Fantasy Football Podcast, I have to ask, what are we drinking this morning, boys? Dusty.
I have got homebrew this morning, beer for breakfast, just my Mexican lager. As fans of our show will know, I've been drinking a lot of lately, trying to empty out this keg. So that's cheers.
Cheers.
Doing the Lord's work, emptying out that keg, by the way. I don't have beer. I'm a classier man than that before noon. I went with a nice little cocktail, orange juice and mezcal. So I don't know what you call this. It's not a tequila sunrise. But
I was about to say, it's kind of a smoky sunrise.
Yeah, ooh. There you go. If it's not called that, it is henceforth.
I like it. You know, you're missing the grenadine, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah, what am I, a millionaire? I just got grenadine.
Dude, it's colored sugar. Shut up.
This orange juice set me back like $20 at the grocery store. It's all I can afford.
Well, unlike you guys, I have to actually work tonight, so I'm sticking with my caffeine and my Rain body fuel. That's what I'm going with this morning. So as we wait for everybody to kind of find the show and get everything up and rocking and rolling, I'm going to run through the injury report this week. And there are some names on here that I really do not want to see on an injury report, which kind of sucks. But we'll start at the quarterback position, where this week we actually do have a name. CJ Stroud popped up as questionable on Friday heading into Sunday's game against the Colts. I know it's CJ Stroud, but are we at all worried about this?
I think you're only worried if you were desperate at quarterback coming into this week. I hope you're not in a position where you were relying on Stroud super heavily, because that would just feel bad. But even in super flex, I don't know. I'm not worried, because I would hope that there's a better option. Maybe a Baker Mayfield if he's out there. Go get him instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Be disappointing, because I'd really like to see the 2 rookies go head to head early in the season. But yeah, other than that, I wouldn't try to rely on him.
I like it. All right, at running back. Colts running back Evan Hall has already been ruled out. I believe it was a hamstring. Correct me if I'm wrong. Zach Moss is expected back from the broken arm or wrist or whatever the hell it was. So likely him and Deion Jackson splitting touches there. The dreaded doubtful tag has been placed on fantasy superstar Austin Eckler. It's against Tennessee. Dusty, are you ready to trot out Joshua Kelley against a pretty solid run defense?
Only if I had no other choices. That defense is legit. And unless you are a special player like Austin Eckler, I would not try going against that defense.
Jake?
Yeah, we saw Jamaal Williams last week. I know people were very excited because running back position right now, when you find these waiver wire guys or these short-term fill-ins, you want to use them regardless. People wanted to use Jamaal Williams, with Alvin Kamara being out, with Kendre Miller being hurt, and it just did not work. So you can get 10 fantasy points, and that's about what you should expect if you do decide to start him, but it's not going to look great, I don't think.
Yeah, I think the upside here is that Chargers will throw to the running back position a little bit more than, say, New Orleans with just Jamaal Williams. So I think there's at least some flex value there with Kelley. And, of course, hoping that he falls in the end zone at short yardage because Chargers will call those plays. In terms of questionable, we have Aaron Jones, Breece Hall, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the aforementioned Kendre Miller, and Bengals running back Chris Evans. All right, Wisconsin boys. Is Aaron Jones going to play, Jake?
I don't think he does.
Yep, I agree. I don't think he does either. It's too early in the season. Why have him suffer further injury to that hamstring when you've got a very capable backup in A.J. Dillon?
I think capable is a little fast and loose, buddy, because he has looked like...
Hey, none of that slander.
Hey, you don't say that. It's rude. I do expect, for what it's worth, with Christian Watson and Dobbs and everybody on the team on offense is basically dealing with some form of an injury or another at this point, outside of Samaje Toure, and I don't think you want to start him. I do think that they're going to have to utilize Dillon. And a little fact, because I know people give him guff, but he can actually catch the ball, and he averages about 35 receiving yards when Aaron Jones doesn't suit up. So he has a respectable baseline, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's fair. All right, moving on to the wide receivers. Jacoby Myers already ruled out. Noah Brown from the Texans ruled out. Hopefully that means a bigger role for Tank Dell because he has looked electric with the football in his hands. Let's hope that Jacoby Myers gets better because that was a shot that he took in week one that was not very good. Two doubtfuls officially, I guess. Deontay Johnson, Wan'Dale Robinson, although Pro Football Network is reporting that Deontay Johnson has already been ruled out for Monday night's game. Regardless, I don't think you're going to see Deontay for at least a couple weeks. So hopefully Sleeper and some of these other people put him on out so I can move him to my IR already. And in terms of questionable, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Watson, Brandin Cooks, DJ Chark, Devontae Parker, and the week one superstar Puka Nacua. Christian Watson missed week one. Do we think he plays this week, Dusty?
No, I don't think he plays. Same reason as Aaron Jones. It's early in the season. The Falcons, while improved, aren't the stoutest defense out there. So I don't think they're going to try to rush him back. And that's never been the Packers' MO anyway.
I think it's possible. That he's, because he did trot out for practice. But if he does, I think it's going to be that snap count situation that we saw with Romeo Doubs last week, which obviously didn't matter for Doubs. He found the end zone multiple times and was good in that. But yeah, he's not going to certainly be out there for the majority of snaps.
Puka Nacua, the superstar, are you trusting Tutu Atwell to be the wide receiver one with the Rams if Nacua can't go? And keep in mind, this is against the San Francisco 49ers, Jake.
That's why it scares the hell out of me. Tutu Atwell, though, to be fair, he's just been in Puka's shadow. Because obviously fantasy scores and whatnot, but he was there. He was
sure it has nothing to do with the fact that he's 100 pounds soaking wet.
Hey, I'm tired of that argument. Okay. Devontae Smith went off on Thursday Night Football and they have comparable body shapes. I won't stand for the slim slander here, but I do think that you're going to be in a spot where you have no floor with Tutu Atwell. And that's the thing. It's if you're comfortable taking 2 points versus maybe 18 points, if he breaks a big play, sure. But that's not going to be me.
And the tight ends. Travis Kelce, questionable, is reported that he will be ready to play. Mark Andrews has gone through practice most of this week, also listed as questionable. Pat Freiermuth, chest injury, questionable, as well as Greg Dulcich, who's actually been ruled out. And of course, because Ryan likes to torture me and he puts kickers on here because apparently they're kickers too. Greg Zuerlein, also questionable. With that, let's now, apparently we're inviting a friend in
Hi,
Hi,
friends.
Faith.
Well, hello.
Oh, I see. Now she decides to come on because she saw how fire this lineup is this morning.
Apparently,
I'm coming to you live from the Delta Sky Lounge in Atlanta. So
bougie,
right?
Oh, dedication. I call it dedication.
She's coming here to flaunt her skyline access and then leave.
I mean, you're not wrong, Jake.
And so apparently Faith is also drinking this morning. What do we got this morning?
It's Coke because I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, that's not. Jesus Christ.
I mean, I could go to the bar, but there's a line.
There's still time.
There's a line.
Jake says there's still time. My plane doesn't board for another 20 minutes. I got plenty of time.
So you hanging out with us for 20 minutes? Is that it?
No, because then I wouldn't be able to eat.
Okay. So you just
I
popping
just wanted to say hi. Because
she's literally coming on to flaunt this bougie status that she has, and then she's ditching. I called it.
Well, see, it's Josh's fault because he only ever books you guys when like Joe or myself are not available.
Duh.
So, because he's a selfish jerk.
Yep.
So I'm
wants
like,
us all to himself.
I know. It's really not cool, Josh. So I just wanted to come say hi to you guys. 2 out of 3 of my favorite Wisconsinites.
2 out of 3. Uh-oh.
We don't have to talk about who the third is. They don't get free airtime here. They're
That's
not
right.
on the show.
And I'm just happy I'm included in the top 3.
What are you talking about, Dustin? You're number 1.
Yes. Yes.
Don't tell me if I'm 2 or 3 because my ego can't handle it. I'll just pretend. It's fine.
You're secretly number 1, Jake, but don't tell Dustin.
God.
I also don't think you understand how this whole recording process works. I'm just going to say that what people
not only
can
is it recording, it's being streamed live. So
yeah, right. All right, we got to get to some fantasy questions.
Have fun.
Bye, Faith.
All right.
All right, let's kick this off. Of course, our good buddy Elixirs likes to bring us back to the Stone Age every single week. Standard League, wide receiver 3, Drake London or Marquise Brown? Dusty.
Marquise Brown. We've seen with Arthur Smith and the Falcons, he really intends to run the ball. Talking about going back to the Stone Ages here and going up against a very stout Packers secondary. Give me Marquise Brown. I think he's going to have more upside.
Yeah, I don't start Drake London until Arthur Smith proves that I should even debate starting Drake London. So that's probably going to be a while. I don't love Hollywood Brown this week, but I like him a lot more than London.
Yeah, I mean, they're at least going to throw somewhat Arizona. I do think the Giants defense has a pretty solid game, and it looks like a lot of the target share is heading towards Zach Ertz at this point. But yeah, give me Marquise Brown because there's no targets going to Drake London. So, and I don't know how you can feel any sort of confidence with Drake London. Next up, we have our good buddy Caesar. Traded Mattison for a 2-day-old unrefrigerated tuna sandwich with extra mayo. Did he win this trade?
Yes. 100% yes.
I know that it's going to be very popular all week to just trash Alexander Mattison. But if you were even paying attention at all before Thursday Night Football, you knew it wasn't the opportunity to start him. With that offensive line situation, it was an absolutely gutter start because you had no other running backs on your roster. He's going to have plenty of usable weeks going forward. I'm not honestly that worried about him. I don't think that there's anybody waiting in the wings to come take over his majority backfield share or anything like that. But yeah, that was gross to watch on Thursday.
Yeah, it was a really bad game. I mean, I'm not on the crowd of like, hey, Madison is hot garbage, like get him out of there.
No.
These first 2 matchups were not set up for him to succeed no matter how you slice it. Philly's defensive line is absolutely legit. They were missing their starting center. They've had interior line problems anyway. This is going to be a pass-first offense. And I would not be shocked if they're going to throw the football 700 times because their defense is just that bad. They have to play catch-up. So you really just kind of have to hope that Madison gets more involved in the passing game, which I believe he saw 4 targets this past week. The turnovers are what really killed him, which went from a bad fantasy game to a worse fantasy game. But and I'd like to say better days are ahead, but they have a gauntlet, the schedule over the next like 4 weeks. So
yeah, just wait until they get in the NFC North with the rest of the garbage defenses there. He'll see better days then.
True. Facts.
Just have to pick and choose your matchups.
Facts. All right. Our good buddy Chris, PPR 2 QB league, needs 2 out of the 3. Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, and Jared Goff. Dusty. And we'll get to the next part.
All right, here. If I was better prepared, I'd actually have the schedule up to see.
So you have Daniel Jones playing the Cardinals. You have Geno Smith playing the Lions in Detroit, excuse me, and then of course Goff at home against the Seahawks.
Oh, I would go. Well, I got to go with Daniel Jones because Darren Waller is my start of the week this week against those Cardinals. I know they looked good, and the Giants were hot trash in week 1, but I feel like they're going to rebound nicely after that throttling. And then give me Geno Smith going up against that Lions defense. There's points to be had there.
Jake?
I'm more nervous about Geno Smith, which stinks because he was my dude coming into this season, but I don't like Seattle's offensive line situation much either, and it doesn't look like help is on the way anytime soon. He was able to deal with it last year, but week 1 just looked so off. I'm going to roll with Jared Goff and Daniel Jones this week. And hope that Geno Smith at least proves himself capable enough that he's in my starting consideration for next week.
Yeah, so their starting left tackle, Charles Cross, is out with a toe injury. I believe they're missing a couple other starters. They just brought up Jason Peters, 41-year-old Jason Peters, who has been in the league forever. This is very questionable for Geno Smith right now from a protection standpoint, but I have a feeling that game's going to be a shootout. And after watching Daniel Jones on Sunday night, against Dallas, it's got to be hard to trust him. And the one thing I do know about Jonathan Gannon, he's called quite a few games against Daniel Jones the last few years, being the defensive coordinator of the Eagles. He knows how to stop him. They put up a good fight against Washington. I'm a little nervous for Jones. I might just stick with a shootout with Geno and Goff and call it a day there. Chris also needs a flex. Rachaad White, Breece Hall, or Zay Flowers. I'll start with you, Jake.
This is Breece Hall for me. Doesn't matter. Your flex spot, you get 3 plays from Breece Hall, and you could be looking at 15-plus fantasy points just out of that. I don't trust Rachaad White whatsoever, so he is not on my radar here.
Jake, I agree with you 100% on that one. Give me Breece all day long. I know it's a tough matchup with the defense of the Cowboys, but he is so electric and looks like he's recovered from that injury. So I have no concerns with him.
Yeah, this is Breece Hall. I would say I am a little tempted by Zay Flowers just because of how we saw him on during week 1. But I do kind of want to pump the brakes a little on Zay because I want to see how he fits into this offense when they bring Mark Andrews back in. So this is Breece Hall. Find a way to get rid of Rachaad White. Dude sucks. He ain't it. Sorry. Just
Sean Tucker is waiting in the wings. He's coming
Facts.
fast.
Sean Tucker is waiting. Facts.
That's what
and
she said.
Shout out Rachel Tootsie Pop. Thank you, Jake and Dusty, because apparently I need help.
I wasn't going to say it, so I'm glad Rachel did.
It's okay. We love Rachel around here. All right. Another standard league. David Njoku and Sam LaPorta are available to pick up right now. He currently has Evan Engram. Would you be looking to grab either of them? And if so, who would you start this week? He does only have 5 bench spots. Dusty.
I think LaPorta is the play here. We saw he got good usage in week 1. As he gets more acclimated in this offense, I feel like he's going to be more of a focal point, especially with Jamison Williams out still these first 6 weeks. And I just don't like the matchup versus the Steelers. It's a divisional matchup on Monday night, and I just feel like that could just be a slug match, low scoring affair. So give me the guy on the more high-powered offense right now.
Jake.
I'm going to stay pat here more than likely and just hold on to Engram. One, I don't love rostering multiple tight ends when they're all of this type of tier. I don't know what the bench looks like, if there's any other player that you'd be willing to drop, obviously. But
well, even then, there's only 5 bench spots, so it's a very shallow bench at that point anyway. I'm
gonna hang on to Evan Engram, who honestly kind of looks like the wide receiver too in Jacksonville right now in terms of total usage. I mean, obviously Zay Jones looked great as well, but Christian Kirk, a guy who I was kind of excited about, is basically an afterthought in this offense. So I think Engram has plenty of utility here.
The one thing I know about Njoku, he can score touchdowns, and that's kind of where Watson will look for him. Problem is, Watson really has not looked great, and his fantasy value really has come from his legs. Normally, I would say Njoku, especially being standard, you want the touchdowns. I'm going to go LaPorta here. I mean, I love the situation with the high-powered offense in Jacksonville, and it is a good matchup against Kansas City. I just think there's way too many mouths to feed, and Engram is at best like 4th on that depth chart in terms of passing volume. So I'm going to lean with LaPorta. Just kind of what Dusty said, at least for now, because Jameson Williams is out. That offense is basically Amon-Ra St. Brown as Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam LaPorta in the passing game. So I know
respect to Josh Reynolds. My goodness, that man.
He'll get it. He'll get his deep pops, but I mean, in terms of target volume, it's those 3 guys. Next up, we have Senior Carrington. Kyle Pitts or Evan Engram? Staying on the Evan Engram train. Jake.
Engram, 1,000%. Same reason, same rationale as when we discussed Drake London. I'm not trusting a pass catcher that's not in their backfield until proven otherwise.
Yep, same, 100%.
Yeah, this hurts because I really want to say Pitts just because, again, he's the second, maybe 3rd target in that offense, but they don't pass enough. So, yeah, I'm going to go Evan Engram here. Next, we have Emily, new face in the chat. Hi, Emily. Are we starting Najee Harris with confidence this week? Dusty.
I don't know with confidence, but yes, I'm starting him this week. I know Browns looked good in week 1. But he should still get the volume. You've got your pass catchers. Deontay probably won't play. I don't know how much they trust Pickett to throw the ball, especially with their number 1 target out. So I think Najee will get the volume. Probably more of a floor play than a ceiling play at this point, but you'll get your points out of him.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Najee Harris guy by any stretch, but I do have to admit that week 1 is probably a big time fluke in terms of what his actual carries were, what his targets were. He was the guy, if you want to say that, in the backfield, but there just wasn't any need for that backfield or any usefulness out of the backfield, at least I should say. But yeah, confidently, no, I'm not going to start him confidently, but I can't imagine you have too many better options that you'd be able to sit him.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. The confidence is minimal. Didn't love the splits with Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren definitely got a little bit more involved, but I think anytime you're missing your number 1 wide receiver, Deontay being out probably for the next few weeks, some of those targets are going to start leaning Najee's way. We also saw them kind of hyper target Allen Robinson towards the end of that game too. So I'm curious to see if he's kind of like a 1-for-1 replacement for Deontay in the play calling. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at probably like a low RB2 ceiling really with Najee this week, but like Jake said, you probably don't have very many better options. So Emily, hopefully that helped. And like I said, new face in the chat, feel free to hit subscribe and join us here every Saturday as we answer all of your start sit questions. We may not always have Jake and Dusty every week, but I like to think we bring some pretty good guests on here to help you guys out. Ray,
it might be Emil, by the way. It might be Emil and not Emily.
Emil, fair enough. That's my bad. I can't read first thing in the morning because, I don't sleep. Ray, first off, I just want to give Ray a shout out because this is the best way to ask a question when you give us the matchup so I don't have to look for him. Fantastic. David Montgomery versus Seattle, Jamaal Williams versus the Panthers, or Josh Kelley against the Titans in a standard league. Seems to question mostly Monty or Williams here. Dusty, I'll start with you because there's a couple really good matchups here.
There are, and really, as Ray said, it's either Monte or Williams here. Williams should have the bulk of the backfield. I know we said that Kendre is, most likely going to be available. How much he actually plays remains to be seen. In Montgomery, I know Dan Campbell said that Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be more involved in this offense, but I really liked Montgomery's usage. I think I'm going to lead Montgomery, but it's close. I think you'll be fine with either player, but I'm slightly giving the edge to Montgomery in this matchup.
I do think it is very close, and I like Montgomery a fair amount. I do think people are so excited for the possibility of Gibbs that they're kind of putting Montgomery into the shadows still, but he's getting most of the usage. I do think Gibbs maybe gets a little bit more involved around the red zone, though, this week. He should have had a touchdown last week that he just slipped up on. I'm going to go with Jamaal Williams here because I really like this matchup. I'm going to take advantage of this guy that you want for the short term while Kamara is still out. And because it's standard, you don't have to really worry about Kendre Miller vulturing too much here.
Yeah, I'm on Montgomery's side here. The one thing I will say, we have kind of a running joke on our Wednesday show. Ryan likes to predict the 2-touchdown game every week. Never once has it hit. And his 2-touchdown special of the week this week, Jamaal Williams against the Panthers. So he's automatically out. David Montgomery has a very defined role, and it is the Jamaal Williams role from last year in that Lions offense. Because it's standard, I really don't want anything to do with Kelley in the bad matchup. I want the touchdown upside, and I know that Montgomery has that week in, week out. It's Monty against Seattle for me. All right, Caesar. Eckler doubtful. Who do I flex? Zay Flowers, Breece Hall, Miles Sanders, TJ Lockett, or Jaxon Smith-Njigba? Jake.
Plenty of options here. I am going to rule out the wide receivers from Seattle. Similar hesitation as I gave for Geno Smith earlier. It's still Breece Hall for me. And I don't even know if this is PPR or standard. And either way, I'm comfortable with Breece Hall.
Yeah, same here for me. Similar to this question we had earlier, gimme Breece. I love his upside. He can hit at any moment and give you those big plays. I just don't trust the rest of those with their matchups and their situations.
Yeah, something I tend to look for in my flex options. I want upside. That is Breece Hall on limited touches any day of every week. So give me Breece Hall here. Jelly of the month. Trade Brandin Aiyuk and Puka, wide receiver 3-4, to the team very weak for wide receiver from Mark Andrews, or sit tight. My tight end combo is David Njoku, Luke Musgrave. Not sure if Aiyuk is a mirage in that offense, and this is half PPR. Dusty.
No.
Are you making this trade?
No, I am not making this trade. As much as I love Andrews, and we know he's an integral piece of that offense, Aiyuk, I think, is the real deal. I will admit I was wrong on him coming out a few years ago as a rookie. I thought Debo was the guy, but Aiyuk has really come along, and I am fully on board with Aiyuk. And you have two decent tight end options in Njoku and Musgrave. I know Musgrave's the rookie here, but we saw good usage out of him in week 1. All of camp, there's been good reports about Musgrave. So, yeah, just stick with what you got because Aiyuk is the real deal. And I think as a flex play, you'll make up for whatever points that you'll get out of Andrews.
Jake.
Yeah, I'm going to agree here. I 1000% agree that Aiyuk is not a mirage in that offense. I will pat both of us on the back here a little bit, Dustin. Coming into this, we've been talking constantly about how Aiyuk was the value in your drafts, not to go after Deebo Samuel. And I think that his usage maintains pretty steady, regardless of all the other pass catchers that are involved there. And there's plenty. I get that. I'm less interested in Musgrave. I think he goes as the injuries go to the other pass catchers in the Packers offense. I don't know that he's going to be consistent, but Aiyuk and Puka, you can at least utilize every single week while Kupp is out. That's at least for another few weeks. It could be longer. We don't know until we get definitive news when Kupp is actually coming back. So I like Mark Andrews. I just don't think he's worth this trade.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I can tell you about Puka and this Rams offense. He saw 15 targets in what was supposedly the Cooper Kupp role, right? Tutu Atwell still had, 10 targets? There's going to be enough, even if Cooper Kupp comes back, that Puka Nacua can still have a viable role in that passing offense. I wouldn't even trade Brandon Aiyuk straight up for Mark Andrews. And that says a lot because I'm very much on team, elite tight end early. That offense just looks bad. I know it was week 1 that Ravens offense really did not look fluid, and that was without Mark Andrews. So I don't even know what it's going to look like when Andrews comes back. But losing J.K. Dobbins, they're going to have to throw the football a lot more. I don't know how comfortable Lamar Jackson's going to be slinging it 600 times a year. So that kind of worries me from that perspective.
But the targets will be there for Mark.
The targets will 100% be there. How quality targets will be there, I don't know.
Sure.
But again, give me the elite wide receiver, and that is Brandon Aiyuk. We've been touting him here at Club Fantasy all summer long. Brandon Aiyuk is the wide receiver 1 in San Francisco. Like you guys said, that was always going to be the value in drafts this year. David Njoku is a fine starter. Musgrave, I think, as you guys said, kind of flows with how the offense in Green Bay will flow. Right now, he's going to be viable, and that's fine because Njoku's matchup this week isn't great. But Njoku can very easily pop off and have a steady, tight end 7 to 10 season, and that's just fine. And I'd much rather have the wide receiver production from Aiyuk and Puka here. Next up, our good buddy Mr. Scampas. Half PPR, got to start 2. The Gus Bus, AJ Dillon, Christian Kirk, Samaje Perine, Romeo Dobbs. Dusty.
Dillon for sure. We know, especially if Aaron Jones is out, we know he's going to get the workload. So I would start Dillon. The other 3, Christian Kirk is out for me, especially after the limited week 1 usage. I guess I would go with Samaje here, just because with Dobbs, I know he's supposed to be back this week, but I don't know. Until he's fully healthy and we see a full complement of plays in this offense, I would be tentative on him. So give me Samaje and Dillon, I guess.
I'm so fighting my urge to be 1000% Packers homer guy here on this one and going with both Dillon and Dobbs because I don't trust the Ravens backfield situation. I'm not interested in starting Gus or Hill or Melvin Gordon, whoever your de jour running back you think is going to be with the Ravens. I'm definitely out on Kirk because he's the low man on that totem pole. If it was full PPR, I would just say Samaje Perine. Give me Samaje Perine. With it being half PPR, I'm a little bit more tentative. But with that said, I don't want to start a running back and wide receiver from the same team. Give me Samaje and Dobbs because I think his touchdown upside is still high.
I'm going to – Dobbs for me is the easy one. Even on limited snaps, like he's going to be the guy, even whether Christian Watson is there or not. Like they're going to look his way. I mean, he had 4 catches last week. 2 of them were touchdowns. So that's a pretty easy gimme there. And the Falcons defense, they're kind of weak at corner. You can say all you want about AJ Terrell. He's a better tackler than he is a corner. I am kind of enticed by Christian Kirk only because I fully expect that game against Kansas City to be a shootout, which means a lot of 11 personnel. So I think you're going to see some of that snap share tick up this week. But I'll take the Packers homer mantle for you guys, and I'll go Dillon with Dobbs. Again, it's half PPR. You still want some of the ground game. Javonte Williams is still the lead dog there in Denver. So Samaje, to me, his value lies in full PPR and less than half PPR. And like you guys said with Gus, I have no idea how that's going to shake out between Edwards and Justice Hill there with the Ravens for right now. So I kind of want to give that a couple weeks before I feel comfortable starting him. So give me Dillon and Dobbs in a good matchup. All right. Cesar traded McLaurin and Khalil Herbert plus Zeke for Chris Olave. Did I pay too much? Got Zeke and Roschon Johnson off waivers and expect Khalil to lose his job. Never been a fan of McLaurin. Jake, thoughts on the trade?
I think this is giving 3 quarters to get $1. So I think you won this trade. Absolutely. I also am not a big Scary Terry guy. That's probably why I'm on Caesar's side here. I think he is what DJ Moore was when he was with the Panthers. He's fine. He can be a fringe wide receiver 2 guy every week, but Chris Olave is the real deal, and I'm just not that interested in Herbert and Zeke for the long term either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Give me Olave every day of the week here. He is the stud piece in this trade. Zeke, yeah, he may fall into the end zone a couple times a game and have a boom week here or there, but he's not going to do much. He's at the end of his career. Herbert, I've been saying this whole offseason that I expect Roschon to be the lead back here before too long in that Chicago offense. So getting rid of him while you can is great while there's still value there. And McLaurin, he's a fine wide receiver too, but you're getting a wide receiver 1 out of this deal. So that's I love this trade.
Yeah, for me, you're getting the best player in the deal in Chris Olave. Sign me up. That's a win. I'll keep it short and simple on that one. All right, next up, Scampers again. Half PPR, Javonte Williams, Jahan Dotson, or Gabe Davis. Dusty.
Oh, give me Javonte in this matchup. I just don't trust Gabe Davis, and Jahan Dotson, I love him, but I still just don't quite trust that offense. So give me the guy I know is going to get guaranteed usage.
There's a real sick part of me that wants to say Gabe Davis and say it with my full chest. But I'm not degenerative enough, I don't think, on this Saturday morning to get there. I'm going to go with Jahan Dotson. I think that Sam Howell and that offense kind of shakes off from week 1. And I think Howell getting rocked probably didn't help too much in that game. I think that they actually come back looking much better, and I prefer Jahan Dotson for the touchdown upside here.
So my trusty co-host Joe Zolo has a very strong-willed rule of thumb when it comes to young quarterbacks playing in Denver, in Mile High, for the very first time in their career. Fade at all costs because they always suck. That said, I'm still going to go Jahan Dotson simply because the one thing that I do know is Pat Surtain is a fucking dog. And he's going to shut down Terry McLaurin. Just look at last week against the Raiders, what happened. Devontae Adams still got his, but they looked Jacoby Myers' way a lot. Jimmy G did. Jimmy G's always been kind of a play-it-safe quarterback. A lot of younger quarterbacks tend to be the exact same way. So why wouldn't Sam Howell look to the guy that he has developed a pretty good rapport with throughout training camp in this offseason? Give me Jahan Dotson here. Javonte going against that Washington front 4 I want nothing to do with. Gabe Davis is just way too boomer bust. Don't get me wrong, he could very easily go off for 33 points against the Raiders secondary because they're god-awful. But I think if you want the ceiling, then yes, go Gabe Davis. But I think Jahan Dotson represents the best combo of floor and ceiling here. All right, Mr. George. You flexing Drake London, Isaiah Pacheco, Romeo Doubs, or Christian Kirk in a half PPR? If Aaron Jones is out, then I just need a flex between those 3 wide receivers. Jake.
Yeah, this is Dobbs. Pretty easy, and I don't think that it's just me being a Packers homer here. Isaiah Pacheco is interesting to me in half PPR. I'm just not fully confident. I agree with you, Josh. This is going to be a little bit more of a shootout between these two teams. And I was at least encouraged by Pacheco's usage in the passing game for what it's worth in week 1. He got more targets than I thought he would. I'm just not fully confident that that's going to maintain for this week.
Yep, I'm lockstep with Jake there, 100%.
Yeah, give me Dobbs, half PPR. I do want to throw out a fun note. Every Thursday night, we run a show called The Sneaky Flex. Features our own Kelley Singh as host and the lovely 8-year-old twins of Rowan and Macy. And when they tried to pronounce Isaiah Pacheco's last name, it came out Isaiah Pistachio. So I will always call him Isaiah Pistachio.
I love that. Love that.
So that said, if you want to start the Pistachio, go for it because I just love saying that name. All right. Who's the next one? JJ. Both RBs got injured. Need a waiver wire pickup. You going Roschon Johnson, Jalen Warren, Ezekiel Elliott, Deion Jackson, or Gus Edwards? Jake.
I am leaving the Colts and Ravens backfields for somebody else to deal with. That's not going to be me. I am probably, sadly, going to pick up Zeke out of this bunch, understanding that you might not get much use out of him beyond a couple of weeks. Like his best days are definitely behind him, but you should get enough volume to make him reasonable. Jaylen Warren, I think, is a landmine potentially this week, but I'm sure other people will disagree with that.
Yeah, and I'll be one of those that disagrees, Jake. I think you do go with Warren there. We saw him get more usage than we expected. While I still love Najee, I do think that there would be enough, especially in this matchup where they're going to rely on the run game, that he will get enough for you this week.
So I'm just going to apologize to JJ because he's getting 3 different answers here. I'm with Jake and the fact that I'm kind of avoiding the landmines that are the Colts and the Ravens at this point. With Zach Moss coming back, I think that's going to kind of put a damper in Deion Jackson's stranglehold, quote unquote, on that backfield for the moment. Justice Hill came in, took away 2 rushing touchdowns from the 30 pounds heavier Gus Edwards in week 1, which still makes zero fucking sense to me. Zeke is Zeke. You're going to get a couple cheap touchdowns here and there. Jaylen Warren has always felt like a trap to me. Roschon, I think, just represents the most upside. Now, I think there's a lot of landmines just in that Chicago backfield as a whole because that offense just fucking sucks. But they find themselves coming from behind quite a bit, just like last week against the Packers. Who was the running back that was in the game? That was Roschon Johnson. So I think that there's going to be a lot of value with him being on the field in those, playing catch up, garbage time type moments where he can sort of rack up those cheap fantasy points. So for me, that's kind of where I'm going to go on that front.
So pick them all up. Pick up all 3, JJ.
There you go. Pick them all up. All right, back to Scampers. If Aaron Jones sits, which it sounds like you guys think he will, are you going Hollywood Brown against the Giants or Samaje Perine against the Washington football team? Because nobody wants to call them the Commanders.
Ugh. This is gross. I guess I will lean Hollywood in this situation. I don't really like it all that much, but I just think they got to throw the ball to someone on that Arizona team, and why not Hollywood, who should see good volume.
I agree with the ethos of that. Scott Fishbowl is full PPR, though, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's full PPR, I'm going to give this slight edge to Perine here because while I don't trust just pure rushing in this matchup, I do trust the dump offs that could be available for Perine. So I'll give the slight edge to him there.
Yeah, I think anytime you're dealing with points per carry, even if it's like a quarter point per carry, like what Scott Fishbowl is, you want the running back in any way, shape, or form. So give me Perine here. All right. In a standard league, our buddy Mike, you going Zay Flowers or Garrett Wilson? Jake.
I don't want Garrett Wilson in my lineups. I'm not putting Garrett Wilson in any of my lineups. If you want to believe that he can have another miracle end zone catch, that's a magic trick that he pulls out of his ass, then fine. But I'm going to go with Zay Flowers because he's definitely the top wide receiver. I know we don't understand fully what he looks like in this offense with Andrews, but I also agree they're going to have to throw a bunch regardless. So I'll take Zay Flowers.
Same. Everything about this Jets offense now is gross. I love Garrett Wilson, don't get me wrong, but I just trust the offense of the Ravens a little bit more, and give me Zay in this instance.
So I'm going to go against the grain here, and I'm going to take Garrett Wilson, and here's why. I understand that Zach Wilson sucks. I also know that he got probably about 14 seconds of practice time leading up to Monday night. Now you're going a full week of being able to prepare as the starter, knowing the game plan is get the fucking football to Garrett Wilson. I think the Dallas Cowboys corners are very overrated, and I think that's going to open up some opportunities for Garrett Wilson if they can get him the ball and let him kind of do his thing quickly, because that Jets offensive line sucks. And Zach Wilson is going to have Micah Parsons breathing down his throat very, very quickly. But again, I'm going to lean on the actual wide receiver one in his respective offense over Zay just until I know how he lines up with Mark Andrews in that offense.
I like that you said that Zach Wilson just needs this week of preparation as a starter, as if all of last year was not beneficial for him getting started reps.
He has a newfound confidence. His mentor has been in the locker room with him.
Big milk energy from that guy is going to get him through with this one extra week of practice.
No, I'm just saying that this week now for this season, he has the full week to say, you know what, I am the guy this week at least. Who knows if they end up making a trade for like Kirk Cousins or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, going forward for right now, the team they're rallying around him. They believe in him, especially after how last week ended. I think there's a resounding level of confidence as, you know what, we can win with Zach Wilson at quarterback. It's just going to take a lot from our defense to do it. So that's kind of where I'm at. All right, JJ, again, going Pat Freiermuth, who is questionable with a chest injury against the Browns on Monday, or sticking with the tight end one from week 1, Hunter Henry at Miami. Jake.
I know it's very tempting to go with Hunter Henry. I am going to avoid Hunter Henry and go with Pat Freiermuth because of the Deontay Johnson of it all here. Assuming that there's any sort of PPR involved here, either half or full PPR, I will take Freiermuth. If it's standard, then sure, give me Henry.
Nope, Jake, I disagree. Give me Henry. The Miami defense is vulnerable. We saw what they did. They actually have a good offensive coordinator now there in New England with Bill O'Brien. Terrible coach / GM. Probably about as good as I could do on a team, but good offensive coordinator. And we saw that last week. They're actually pushing the ball down the field. It's a little bit more explosive offense. Not that they have the greatest weapons, but Henry is one of the better ones on that team. So give me Henry on in a game that's probably they're gonna be playing from behind it, and they're gonna have to be throwing the ball.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Dusty here. Give me Hunter Henry. He looked like the wide receiver 1 in that offense. That's what I want. Miami's defense gave up 34 points. I understand it was the Chargers, but that Miami defense is not great. Outside of their front like defensive line, that's it. Like their secondary is god awful. So give me Hunter Henry here.
The Kinder-born disrespect, I swear.
Again, still, that's all set up because Hunter Henry moves the chains. That's all I'm going to say. And Devontae Parker sucks, so even if he does play, I'm not that worried about it.
I thought that was all you were going to say, Josh, and then you kept talking after that.
It just kept rolling, you know? All right, Jelly of the Month. Just saw in PPR League Treylon Burks on waivers. Would you drop Brandin Cooks or Antonio Gibson, who is his RB 5 or 6, to grab Treylon Burks? Jake.
Yeah, this hurts me to say. I think Dustin will probably agree with me on this.
Come on, I want you to say
I'll drop Antonio Gibson if he's that far down your running back list for Treylon Burks pretty easily. I understand Brandin Cooks also is dealing with his injuries. Somebody mentioned on Twitter, and I can't get out of my head, that this is like the quiet quitting of Brandin Cooks in this offense. Just like, nah, I'm good, Joe. I don't want any part of this anymore. I don't fully believe that. Also, can I take a minute? I didn't get to ask this last time. What is September's Jelly of the Month? Tell us what September's Jelly of the Month is. We need to know. Put it in the chat, please.
Yeah, I am right there 100% with Jake. I'm glad he chose the right answer in Antonio Gibson. Brandin Cooks, maybe he is dealing with his injury, but I think he's going to have the long-term value this season, where Gibson, I don't believe. And if he's like 5 or 6 on your roster, you have the depth to get rid of him. Pick up someone in Treylon Burks that I think could come on as the season progresses here.
At Club Fantasy, we don't drop running backs. Get rid of Brandin Cooks. Go grab Treylon Burks. That's the way I look at it.
Wow.
Yeah,
how many? What's the bench situation that you would say finally you'll drop a running back? How many bench spots does it have to be before you would be?
Dude, if I only had 6 bench spots, they would like 5 of them would be running backs.
Okay.
I shit you not.
Okay.
Like that's kind of how we are with running backs, because it's such a revolving door at the running back position that I want as much depth as possible, because the moment that I feel like that I have enough depth, I don't have enough depth. Like that's really just how it goes. That's how it goes. All right, Scampers again in a league against Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, and Dallas Goedert. So, yeah, he's hoping that Gabe Davis gets him 33 points.
Yeah.
Just wanted to pull that up. So, yeah, look, you're chasing upside. And you know what? At that point, that is when I would roll with Gabe Davis because you need that pop. And we've seen what Gabe Davis can do on a football field. He can get you 33 points at the blink of an eye. So, dig it. All right, Caesar. Should I roll with the Patriots defense against Miami? Only players I can drop for another defense are Tyler Algier, Kenny Gainwell, Roschon Johnson. Defenses available are the Bucks, Broncos, Cardinals, and Colts. Dusty, you dropping any of these guys or?
No, I would not drop any of those guys to pick up another defense, unless you're actually going to drop the Patriots defense to pick up one of these others. That would be the only move, but I would not drop any of those bench guys. They've all got, in my opinion, good value, especially as the season goes on here. As you're just saying, they're all running backs, which we don't drop those apparently. But no,
you're learning, Dusty. Yeah. You're learning.
Hey, I may be old, but I can still learn. But yeah, if you want to drop the Patriots D and hope that they're there next week, that you can pick them up back up off of waivers, I would try to make that move. Otherwise, I would just roll with the defense and hope that they get a couple turnovers, some sacks. Patriots defense always seems to play strong no matter what year it is. So you never know. They could catch lightning in a bottle here against this Miami offense.
I don't know. This is gross. This is because none of those defenses are like, they don't inspire confidence for me on their own. A couple of the matchups are okay. Like Josh, you talked about the Broncos and going against Sam Howell. Like I get it. So if you wanted to pick them up, maybe, and with CJ Stroud being listed as questionable, maybe you pick up the Colts. But what are you going to get? An extra 3 points compared to what the Patriots defense might get you, and then you might not get them back. So yeah, I just stay pat.
There's a realistic shot that the Patriots get you -7 points this week. That's how good that Miami.
I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all.
Look, for me, I'm going the matchups. We're big on streaming here. That's what Ryan does. He writes the stream of the week. And for this week, the Tampa Bay Bucks were his stream of the week defense. So against Justin Fields and that horrible Bears offense, I would go the Bucks. I would just drop the Patriots outright. But again, if that's who you want to hang on to, say a prayer, buddy. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Our good buddy Jay. I'm assuming this is Garrett Wilson or Jerry Jeudy PPR. Jake.
This is where I'll be deferential towards Garrett Wilson. This is basically my line, or very close to my line, for being willing to start Garrett Wilson. I don't trust Russell Wilson still. I don't trust Sean Payton ever. So I will go with Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I agree. I don't trust that Broncos offense quite yet. So give me the guy that we know is going to get peppered with targets.
Yeah, I'm going to go Wilson as well. I've been a notorious Jerry Jeudy hater, Team Cortland Sutton all the way. So fuck Jerry Jeudy, Garrett Wilson. All right, so we're coming up on the final 7-ish minutes, and we're just going to kind of hit the lightning round here. You ready, boys?
You betcha.
Let's do it.
All right. Pick 2, Mike Williams, Amari Cooper, Jahmyr Gibbs, or Josh Kelley. Dusty.
Mike Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jake.
Bingo bongo. Mike Williams is in every lineup for me, and Gibbs has the upside.
Correct. Mike Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs. Gator. Josh Kelley, Rachaad White. Khalil Herbert. Jake.
Going with Herbert here because F those other 2 options.
Is this Khalil Herbert?
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oof. Give me Rachaad White. It's all gross, but give me White, I guess.
The answer is never Rachaad White. It's Josh Kelley. Our good buddy Kevin. What's up, buddy? Starts it for my TV on Sunday. Packers, Falcons, or Antiques Roadshow?
Oh, tough.
Screen in, screen. Tough. Always screen in, screen, Kevin. Have Roadshow up and Packers, Falcons in the corner.
Or just bite the bullet, spend a couple $100 and buy yourself a second TV.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Super C&B Challengers. That's a new face. I like it. 1 PPR, Miles Sanders, David Montgomery, or Breece Hall. Dusty.
Breece, all the way.
That's a good one.
They are asking to sit one. I want to specify.
Oh, sit.
I'm
oh,
sitting Miles Sanders
sit.
out of.
Oh,
yes. Sit one. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm sitting Miles Sanders here. That's a pretty easy
same. Sorry, misread that.
Yeah. All right, one more. Broncos, Browns, Giants, or the Bucks D this week? Jake.
I guess Bucks. I'm not going to go against Ryan here. I'll roll with the Bucks.
Same.
I mean, in fairness, the Browns should be rostered. That's how I would have them, would be the Browns and then the stream of the week, the Bucks. So that's where I would go. But if the Browns are available, that's who I'm starting this week. I want that Pittsburgh offense is awful. So bad. And to answer your question from earlier, Jake, Strawberry, the Clark Griswold special.
Thank you. I needed to know.
Got it. All right. Flores, should I drop any of the following players to grab Roschon Johnson? Tyler Boyd, Elijah Mitchell, Drake London, Cortland, Sutton, Dusty.
Oh, I want to say Drake London. I just don't trust that offense. It's that bad. And I'm sorry. I'm a big stan for Roschon. I think by the end of the season, he is going to be the default lead back of this backfield there in Chicago. So I know it's lightning round. Sorry. Go on.
I wanted to say drop Drake London as a joke, but I'm not going to do that. Trade Drake London, though. Somebody will trade you for Drake London. That's my answer here secretly. But if you really want to drop somebody, Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, that's who I would go with. If you want to grab one of those, drop Boyd. Cruz, Puka, or Elijah Moore at wide receiver 3 this week? Jake.
Don't love the matchup, but I will go with the volume play of Puka.
Same. Puka's healthy. Start him.
Yep, Puka as well. And Kevin, we'll talk after the show, buddy.
It's lightning with 2 G's, Kevin. That's implied. Circumvent.
All right, we going Stafford or Baker Mayfield this week? Jake.
I'm going to roll out with Baker. I know that's going to feel gross to put him in your lineups, and I know Stafford will throw a lot. But again, the matchup is not great for him. Baker has an amazing matchup.
Same.
Yeah, I'm going to go Baker as well. The Rams have lost 8 straight regular season games against the 49ers. I want nothing to do with Matt Stafford this week. And Jay, I know you missed kind of the earlier part of the show. Can we start Najee? Yes, you can start him. Not with a whole lot of confidence, though. Let me tell you. That's kind of where we're at on that one. All right. Yeah. And that will do it. Jake, Dusty, thank you boys so much. It's been a pleasure. Always love being able to chop it up with you guys.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Let everybody know where they can find you guys and everything that you've got working on in the pipeline over at Drinking and Talking Fantasy or other places. Dusty, take it away.
Yeah. As you said, we are the Drinking and Talking Fantasy Football Podcast. You can find us Tuesday evenings at 6:30 Central, which is the best time zone. Every week we stream live. You can hit us up at Drinking Fantasy if you have any start sit questions, or you can find me at FF Dusty Dog. Take it away, Jake.
He said it. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, so you can be there for the live stream, or just download it after the fact. We don't care either way. You can find me at Jake Trowbridge on Twitter. You can also find me doing goofy ass videos for Fantasy Life at MB Fantasy Life on Twitter.
Your last press conference video. A+, buddy. That was fun.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That was good. I'm Josh Hudson. You can find me at the one Hudsonian. That's the number 1 over on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Honestly, wherever. That's my brand. It is what it is. And of course, you can follow Club Fantasy at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL, clubfantasyffl.com. Please hit subscribe to that YouTube channel. Hit like on the video. All that good stuff. We greatly appreciate it. Give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whole 9 yards. Once again, at Club Fantasy FFL. Always remember, defense wins championships, offense wins fantasy. I know that's our Monday tagline, but that's okay. And we're just going to roll the video and head on out. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy week 2. Best of luck. Feel free to drop any additional questions. Hit us up on the socials or even on the video on YouTube. See you guys.